The Practice of Self-Inquiry, Robert Adams. When I say all is well and everything is unfolding as it should, most of you begin to think about your personal problems, collective problems of the world. This is exactly what you should not do. As we go through the vicissitudes of life, we find we go through much friction. This is normal. There is absolutely nothing wrong. Most of us have been brought up to believe certain things are wrong. This may appear true in the relative world, but as far as the spiritual world is concerned, all is well, and everything is unfolding as it should. Whatever you believe is wrong with your life, or with someone else's life, there's nothing but an unfoldment in consciousness, and it's necessary for your evolution. If you understand this, you will not react to whatever happens. You will simply smile, observe, and become the witness through each situation that comes into your life as you unfold. There's nothing in the universe that can hurt you. The substratum of this universe is divine love. It is pure consciousness. It does not know the meaning of hurt or evil or sin. Those are just words that human beings make up. When you begin to identify with your real nature, which is love, then you sail through all the so-called calamities of life. But if you identify with the world of appearances, and as you know there are many appearances, you seem to suffer. You become angry, you become upset, you become disillusioned, only because the world is not turning your way. Only because the world is not turning the way you think it should, according to your concepts, according to your preconceived ideas. Again, there is nothing wrong. Everything is right just the way it is. As you begin to understand this, you find peace. What do you really want out of life? As most of you know, when you achieve your goals, it doesn't turn out to be the thing you hoped it would. As long as you're looking for something, you will always be disappointed. When wisdom starts to come to you, you stop searching, you stop needing, you stop wanting, you leave it alone. You live in the moment, spontaneously, and then everything unfolds where it's supposed to. There is the story of a prime minister of a great country who used to go to a teacher in the forest, and all the teacher would say to him is, "All is well and unfolding as it should." This was the entire teaching. Then there would be silence. The prime minister of the country went to this teacher for 5 years. He didn't understand what was going on, but he had faith in the teacher, and in God and in himself. So he just kept repeating, "All is well and unfolding as it should." One day he became totally immersed in consciousness. He lost the body-mind idea, transcended the I thought, and became absolutely free, became radiantly happy, inner joy, inner bliss. One day the head chef of the palace caught his wife with one of the cooks making love in the kitchen, and he became angry, he became upset. He wanted to kill her. But before he did anything, he went to the Prime Minister, and he said, "Prime Minister, what can you do to help me? I caught my wife with another man. I want to kill her. What should I do?" And the Prime Minister said, "Don't worry. All is well and unfolding as it should." And the chef got upset. He got mad and went away, saying to himself, "How can he tell me that? I asked him for help, and all he told me was, 'All is well.'" Now it happened that the chief of the guards of the palace was due a promotion, and somebody else got promoted in his place. And he became upset, and he decided to see the prime minister to ask his advice. He told the prime minister what happened, and the prime minister just smiled. And he said, "No, don't worry. All is well and unfolding as it should." And the chief of the guard said, "What?" And he went away angry, mumbling to himself. He happened to bump into the chef whose wife had been unfaithful, and they related their stories to each other. And he said, "The prime minister told me the same thing. Let's fix him good. Let's plan to do something to him. What can we do?" They happened to pass the royal barber shop, and the king was taking his royal shave. The barber slipped with the razor and cut the king's royal neck. Blood was flowing all over the place, and they ran in and helped bandage the king's neck. When they left, they came up with a plan. And they ran to the prime minister and they said, "Prime Minister, our king has cut himself shaving, and he's in extreme pain. What do you think of that?" And the prime minister said, "All is well, and everything is unfolding as it should." That's what they wanted to hear. So they ran to the king and they said, "Your Majesty, we told the prime minister about your terrible accident, and he didn't even care. All he did was say, 'All is well,' laughing, and everything is unfolding as it should." And the king says, "What? Bring him to me." And the palace guards brought him to the king. And the king looked the prime minister in the face and he said, "Look at my neck. It's bandaged and it hurts like hell. What do you think of that?" The prime minister merely said, "Your Majesty, all is well, and everything is unfolding as it should." And the king got real angry and he said, "Put him in the dungeon." So he threw the prime minister in the dungeon. Now it was Wednesday afternoon, and every Wednesday afternoon the king went horseback riding with the prime minister. But of course the prime minister was in the dungeon, so he went horseback riding by himself. The forest was filled with Kali worshippers, and this was the time of year when they captured someone and sacrificed that person to the goddess Kali, as that was their custom in the old days. So the chief of the Kano said, "Go bring me a pure person for the sacrifice." So they searched and they couldn't find anybody. Then they saw the king coming. They grabbed the king. They didn't care who he was, and took him to the Kali guards. And the Kali chief looked at him and he said, "Take off his clothes," which they did. Then he saw the cut in his neck bandaged, and he said to his guards, "How dare you bring me a person like this? Can't you see he's impure? He has a great cut in his neck. We only sacrifice a pure person. Get rid of him." They took him back to the forest and let him go. Now the king was running back to the palace, and he thought this over. And he realized that if he had not cut himself, he would have been sacrificed. And he sent for the prime minister and told him this story. He said, "You were right. If it weren't for the cut in my neck, I would have been sacrificed to the Kali gods." And the prime minister said, "Not only that, Your Majesty, but I usually go riding with you. They would have caught us both, and I would have been sacrificed if you didn't throw me in the dungeon, so thank you." So you see the moral of the story? No matter how things may look, no matter how things may appear, every situation in this world has a beginning, a middle, and an end. But all is well, and everything is unfolding as it should. Take a look at your life. All of the times that you interfered with the condition because you didn't believe it was the right condition. And you caused problems for yourself and for all concerned. Everything will always work out. There are no mistakes. You have to feel that. You have to have faith in yourself and in the powers that be. While you are working in this world, do not react to things, for you are only seeing a partial story. It's like the example of the keyhole I give you. A person looks through a keyhole and they see one part of the picture. They see somebody stabbing somebody else with a knife, and that's horrible, very bad. But let's imagine they open the door and they see the whole picture. They will probably see that in a previous life, the man who was being stabbed the person who is stabbing him. And now in this life, the same thing is happening to him. And when he looks further, he will see the one being stabbed and the one who is doing the stabbing both laughing, for nothing has happened to them at all in reality. So you see, we always get a partial picture. We never get the whole truth. This is why we are told not to react. This is why we are told whenever a situation confronts us, act from the point of wisdom by not reacting. Yet your body will do something. When I say to not react, I mean mentally. First, if you do not react mentally, and you are at peace with yourself, your body will take the right course of action in order to transcend that situation. And you will not have to go through it again. But say you react, and you seem to get your way and win, whatever the situation is. This simply means that you have put your karma in abeyance for a while. The results have not hit you yet. You stopped them for a while. But according to the law of karma, you're going to have to go through it at one time or another. If you do not react mentally, divine right action will take place, and you will transcend and not have to go through that experience. This is the way to live in the world. The question is the world your real home? What have you got to do with this world? As you evolve, as you unfold, you begin to see that you are a spirit. You are not a body, you are not a mind, and you are not the doer. By spirit, I mean your true nature is consciousness, absolute reality, pure awareness. You are really not of this world. But this realization only comes when you do the work. By doing the work, I mean when you develop compassion, humility. Your feelings no longer become hurt. It doesn't make any difference where you live or where you are or what's going on in your life right now. You realize this is for a time only. And this too shall pass. So you do not react. And you have transcended lust and greed. When this has been accomplished to an extent, you find you're beginning to feel a tremendous bliss, tremendous peace. It's at that time that you can begin to practice self-inquiry. Everything I've said to you has led to the practice of self-inquiry, Atma Vichara. If you have not come this far, as I just explained, you will not like self-inquiry. It will be meaningless to you. It will be boring. You will try for a couple of weeks, a couple of days, a couple of months, and then you will tell me, Robert, it doesn't work. And I will smile and realize you have not done the preliminary work. You still have anger, doubt, apprehension, suspicion. Things of the world still annoy you. You react to things, sometimes violently. Therefore, you cannot practice self-inquiry. You will not like it, you will not enjoy it. But you can surrender if you are ready to do that. You can surrender to the self, to God. You can allow God, the self, to take your anger, to take your suspicions, your depressions, your apprehensions, your greed, your lust. You can give it all to God. But this is also not the easiest thing to do, for it means that you have come to the conclusion that you are not the doer. You are more like a puppet being manipulated by karma, and so you give everything up to God. You surrender your karma, your sins, your past mistakes, everything. You let go of it. Then you find you're becoming more peaceful and you begin to search for the personal I. You begin to feel, I am not the body. I am not the mind. I am not my experiences. Then who am I? Who am I? Who is this person called I? Is it me? When I refer to my foot, my chest, my hand, who is the my I am talking about? To whom am I referring? You begin to question yourself. Remember, this can only be done when you are at peace with yourself. What is the source of I? You begin to look within yourself. You spend moments in the silence. In the beginning, when you ask the question, who am I? There's a profound silence. It will only last a few seconds. But as you continue to question, the space between each who am I becomes greater and greater, and you remain in the silence longer and longer. This silence is your true nature. The silence is consciousness. When the I dissolves, you become Satchitananda, Brahman, Nirvana, emptiness, and you become blissful. As the days go by, whatever you feel, whatever you see, whatever your senses tell you, you question, to whom does this come? You're always questioning. As I mentioned Sunday, self-inquiry is not meditation. You can sit at certain times during the day and practice self-inquiry if you desire. You're not meditating. You're inquiring. You're following the I thought to the source. You do not look for results. If you find that you cannot do this, you practice being the observer. You observe everything you go through during the day. You become the witness. You watch, and you do not react. Then self-inquiry will come by itself. Something will open up within you, and you will ask the question, who is the observer? Who is the witness? And something will say, I am. And I am is the first name of God. So you will change the meditation and do the I am meditation with your respiration. You inhale and you say I. You exhale and you say am. It's okay to mix self-inquiry with the I am meditation, as long as you're always doing something. That's the point. Always do something. Do not focus on your so-called problems. If you're doing something spiritual, your problems will always take care of themselves. They will. They will always work themselves out. As far as you're concerned, keep yourself spiritual. You will always begin when you awaken. If you wait too long, you will forget and go about your daily business. But if you do something spiritual when you first awaken, you will carry it through during the day and before you fall asleep. Keep yourself spiritual all the time. When you wake up, you can immediately ask yourself, who am I? Where did the I come from? I had a dream and now I am awake. Who is this I? The I slept soundly, the dreamt, and now the I is awake. Interesting. And you ask then, who am I? Which really means, what is the source of this I? You always pause and remember you never answer the question. When you ask yourself, what is the source of the I? And you rest in the silence, thoughts will start to come to you. So you inquire, to whom do these thoughts come? If you find you are late for work and you have to get up and get dressed or do whatever you're doing, do not force yourself to stay back and practice self-inquiry, but get dressed. As you get dressed, ask yourself, who's getting dressed? I am. Who am I? And follow it through as you're eating your breakfast. Who's eating? I am. Well, who is this I? And you keep it up. You keep it up. You keep it up. You keep it up. You will forget in the beginning, but as you keep up the momentum, you will remember. And you will remember more and more. All during the day, keep up the self-inquiry. Surrender. You can do both simultaneously. When something faces you that you don't like, you can say, to whom does it come? And you can also say, take this from me, God. It doesn't belong to me at all. Take it. Take this burden. Then you can inquire, who had to give the burden to God? I did. Who am I? It always goes back to the same thing. This is the procedure. These are the things you must do if you want to become free. Why are you wasting your life? The things that you think you need will one day vanish. You don't know how much time you've got left in your body. And if you haven't become of no mind, you have no idea where you're really going to go when you drop your body or what's in store for you. If you practice self-inquiry, if you practice surrender, if you keep your mind on the source, you'll be safe. And the worst thing that can happen to you when you drop your body is that you will reincarnate into really spiritual parents. Parents who have been on the path a long time, giving you the opportunity to start at an early age to become free and liberated. So what do you want with your life? Do you want to go after material things that are here today and gone tomorrow? Or do you want to become free? The choice is yours.